Hey, hi everyone. So in this video, we will try to cover entity framework CRUD operations with the .NET 8. Okay. As a part of this, we will create the project in .NET 8. This is the first step. That is the web API project we are going to create it. And the second step is the setting up the required entity framework packages. So as we are going to do the CRUD operations, so we need entity framework packages. So we will install them through NuGet package, and we need to create a model. So whatever the you can say table which we required, so for that we are going to create the class for it and setting up the DB connection. Okay, we are going to set up the DB connection and performing the CRUD operations and verifying or testing them. Okay, so first I am going to take the Visual Studio. So I have ES 2022. So first of all I am going to create the, you can say, project for web API in the .NET 8. So window open. So now create a new project. Okay, and we need to select ASP.NET Core Web API. So let's remove this all project types and let's search for Web API. So this is the one actually we are going to select it. Okay, then I am clicking on the next. Yeah, the same one. So clicking on the next ASP.NET Core Web API. So let's user registration, say API. Okay, so clicking on next. I'm not doing any changes, at whatever the default location is the same location, and clicking on next, and I am unchecking configure for HTTPS, enable OpenAI support. I'm keeping as is, I'm not modifying except this. So clicking on the next for this, so it will create the ASP.NET Core Web API project for us. It will be having some default controller, and also we are going to have a web app setting.js file. So and also it is going to yeah, this is created. It is also going to create app settings.json file, right? So if you see, there is a default controller, weather forecast controller. So this is the first of all, I'll try to come up with the solution side. So solution is user registration API and project is user registration API. And if you see, target framework is .NET 8.0. Okay, and yeah. So what we will do as a first step, as you know, the first step is creating the .NET project in .NET API, .NET 8 and web API that is we selected. And now we need to second step is setting up the required entity framework packages. Now click on it. So what are the packages we required? So we required entity framework packages. So we need to click on for CRUD operations we required, as I said, entity framework package. So I'm just clicking on right click on it, manage NuGet packages, and click on browse. So default option will be installed. So you need to shift to browse, and here we need to select, you need to type entity framework. Okay, so as a part of it, entity framework, so there are multiple options are getting visible. So there are two packages which we need: entity framework dot entity framework core dot tools. This is the one package. So this is the one, you can see 409 millions download. So let's install this. And the next package is entity framework core SQL server as well. So we will install after this SQL server package as well. So it is installing, executing script file. I think it's done. Green mark you can see. Yeah, it's done. Now let's go to entity framework core dot SQL server. This is the second package we need it. Okay, so I'm going to install this second package as well. So these two packages are required to ideally to have connect to the database and making the required CRUD operations. All DB operations we can perform with these things. So yeah, ideally these are two fundamental packages. One is entity framework core all SQL server, and another one is, if you see installed one, so you will be seeing that one more is tools as well. So these two packages we required. So yeah, SQL server and tools. So let's close this. So as we installed packages, you can see there are two are installed already. Now installed. I mean, just we installed tools and SQL Server. Now let's begin by adding a new controller. So for API, so API will go with the base controllers. Sorry, we need to select API and API controller empty. Okay, and clicking on add. So what is the name we need to provide? So we need to give the user controller. Okay, so click on add. It will create the an empty controller for us. Okay, so if you see, it is API controller. Okay, so what is our next step? So the next step is, if you see, so okay, so we need to go with the creating the model. So we'll go, so I created the user controller, that's okay. So but we also need to know what are the proper what is the table name to be there. So as we are going to check the user, a simple user related detail, so we will go with the user model, or you can say user entity. For that I will create a model class, a model folder first is. So I'm creating the model folder. So create model. Okay, and as a part of it I am going to create the class for it. So mod you can say user. Okay, so let's create user. If you see, I have created a user class, right? So we need, what are the things we need? We need an ID, right? Public. Okay, let's choose a shortcut prop property. Okay, so it is an int, that's okay, and we need user ID. Okay, and the next, okay, we will keep it as the ID. Okay, and the next is we need string username or user ID. We'll keep it as user ID. This is also unique. Get set. And next is another property we need is we need say username. I mean name string name. Okay. And what is another property we need? Email we need. It is automatically showing. Yeah. We can go with the public string password as well. These properties, I think, for a user table, username, email, password, and you can keep it another one, public string phone. We'll keep it as a phone number, right? So let's save it. I saved it. So what are the required fields we needed? So we required, let's say, required, as when I mentioned as a required, so definitely we need to pass this value. Okay, so I'm mentioning the user ID and also email ID and password. I mean, while creating the user, we need them. Required string password. Okay, so let's keep this at the bottom. Okay, we created the model class, and now, so what we need next, we need to have the connection string first, then only we can connect to the database. So what is the connection string? I am having already a SMS installed in my system, and I'm just trying to connect the current one. If you see, I'm using Windows authentication, and for Windows authentication, uh, there are multiple databases which I have already created. So I'm going with this connection desktop 8 8m552 ETTT. This is a server name, you can say local server name. So let me go to the app settings file. So here we need to add the connection string. So let's add the connection here. Okay, so what is the property to be added? Connection strings. Okay, this is the property to be added as a connection string, and default connection, we need to have default connection. Okay, so let's provide the default connection. So what is the server name? First we need to provide the server name. The server name is, this is the server name. So just connect, take the server name, copy, can cancel, like taken the server name, copy the server name. Okay, so database, what is the database we are going to provide? So database will say user db. Okay, and we also need to mention trusted connection equal to true. And the next is, as we are using Windows authentication, trust server certificate, let's mean trust server certificate equal to true. Okay, so we done with the connection string. Default connection equal to server equal to desktop, database name is userdb, trusted connection true, trusted certificate true. So let's go to user controller. Now as we created the connection string, we need to register this as a service in the program.cs file. Okay, so let's create this db service. So builder dot services. Okay, that add db context, we need to add the db context for this. So what is the db context? Application db context. Did we created db context? No, it is not giving because we not created. So let's go to the first step first, that is we need to have this class to be added into the database. Okay, so we added the connection string, we added the packages, and now we need to, okay, we need to keep this as our primary key first of all, and we need to set this column as identity column. So for identity column, for the key we need to mention primary key purpose, you can use the key. Okay, so it is not coming, so click on control dot. So using system dot component data annotations correct, it is added the namespace, and the next is database generated, we need to mention, and database operation, it is automatically showing. See, it is identity column, we are going to have it for automatically in a increment will happen like 1 2 3 4 5. It's a primary key as well. Let's now connect to the database by opening the package manager console. In this, we need to run the commands add migration. This is the first migration we are doing, so we'll mention as initial DB creation. So we are creating now the database. You see the database name is going to get created as a user DB. So let's run this, and you can see there is no user DB is there, right? So let's run this now. It is building. Build succeeded. No DB context was found. User registration ABI. Ensure that you are using the correct assembly and the type is neither abstract or generic. Okay, so we need to have the DB context as well in that case. So as it's clearly saying that we are not having any DB context, we need to add the DB context class. We added the connection string, we added the model, but we haven't added the DB context class. Without DB context class, it cannot connect to the database. So first, we need to create the folder called data so that we can have the application DB context class in this. So let's add a class. So mention it name is application DB context. Okay, we added the application DB context. So it should be inherited from DB context as we are going to use Microsoft SQL Server and we are going to connect to the database. So let's have a constructor as well for this application DB context, and what we need DB context options. We need DB context options. Okay, what we need, it is clearly showing the application DB context we need, and also options and the base is also need to have the options. Yeah, we created the now constructor as well. So let's create DB set what we need user, the class what we have in the model, so user and the users. So with this it should create the DB. Let's try if it need any more things. Let's see. So add migration initial DB creation. Let's check it. Will succeeded. Great. Unable to create DB context of type runtime. The execution unable to resolve for type. Entity framework DB context options. While attempting to active user registration was thrown while attempting to create an instance. So it is giving error. So what is this error? Let me check. Sorry, we haven't created the service. It was clearly saying unable to resolve service for type in Microsoft Entity Framework for DB context options. So we need to create the service for this. I was trying to create the service earlier, right? So yeah, this is the one. So builder dot services add DB context application DB context. Okay, now it is added. Now what we need to do exactly on this? We need to add the options as well. So this is not yet completed. If you see, yes, all are getting visible options. Need to run with the dot options dot use SQL server. We need to use SQL server. Yes. Then what we need to get the connection string. Where is the connection string? We have builder, right? Here you can see builder. We need to use a builder to get the connection string. Builder dot configuration dot get connections, get connection string. Okay, what is the connection name? What is the name we given? Default connection. Let's copy it, the default connection. Copy this and paste here default connection. So let's put semicolon. Yes, it's completed. Still it is throwing error. So this is matched. This is matched. Control KD and another parenthesis. Sorry. We have one, two, three. Yeah. Yes, done. Now let's go back to the again package manager. So package manager console. So initially we were not having DB context itself. Without that we tried and we added the DB context, but we haven't added the service in the program.cs file. So that was error. Let's see this third time. Will it create the database? Use remove migration, add migration, initial DB creation. So there should be migration folder, right? So the migration folder is added. To undo this action, use remove migration. Okay, so it is saying that if you wanna remove it, you can use the remove migration, but that's okay for us. It is not required to remove migration now. So there would be a new folder will be added, that is a migrations folder, and you can see um, this type of class and another class as well like this. Okay, now the first command is completed, that is the initial command we ran is add migration and the comment whichever we wanted to, and the next is update database. This is the command to add this table to the database. The initial one will create the migration classes. Now only the invariant culture is supported in globalization hyphen invariant mode. ENS is invalid culture identified. So this is related to the project settings. Let's go to the project. Okay, we can see invariant globalization, right? So we can make it false. Okay, let's rerun it again. So this is third error. Update database. Done. Now done. So let's go to the SQL Server Management Studio. Did you see UserDB? No. So let me refresh it. So UserDB is there. And let's check the tables. Yeah, two tables. So as you see, entity framework migration history. This is the default table ideally which first time will be created, and from second time onwards it won't be. It will be there, but just a record will be inserted. And the user table. Let's see the columns. What are the columns which we added? See, primary key we created, user ID, email, password, name, phone. All are created. Okay. Now let's go to the application again. Let's quickly try to create the user controller. We'll try to create the CRUD operations now. So if you see CRUD operations, first we'll go with the HTTP GET. So HTTP GET, that's okay. Now public and I action result, right? And add user. Okay. So what we need, sorry, get user we will go, sorry, first time. We'll go with the just get user, get user, get users. Okay, let's have it. So I added. So what it should return? It should return all user details. So all users, we need db context class. Did we add the db context in this as part of it? No, to read the users, so we haven't added anything. So let's go to private read only and application db context, application db context. See, it is there, and we need to have the property, sorry, we need to have the variable name as db context. Okay, let's db context have it. Now we will use this db context to get the users. So db context dot, so we have see users class is added dot to list. It is automatically showing everything. So click on return. Okay, all users done. So let's run this. So far we haven't ran it, so just run this application now, the API. Now see, it's open the user, it open the Swagger, okay, and browser, and if you see users is the entity we are having, or you can say table we are having, and click on try it out. Okay, click on execute. Object reference not set an instance of an object, so we haven't created an instance for this, right? So let's stop it. And how to create an instance for this now? So instance should be created like in the constructor. Let's see. So we need to create the we need to get the instance. How to get the instance? Ideally we need to get the service instance which we create. We should have it. So as we have builder.services at db context, right? This we need to get it. How to get it? In the controller, go to controller again, user controller. Now click on, now we need to have ctor constructor, right? Now this is our user controller. What we need to have the property, sorry, variable parameter, application db name, application db context, and db context should be the variable name, and our variable name is underscore db context. So we need to get it like this dot to access the global variable in this class variable. Now we need to pass this db context. Let's try whether it should work. Let's see. We missed creating the or assigning the value to the db context. It will run in the again it browser, in the browser it is running. Great. Now click on try, click on API, click on try it out, and click on execute. We should not see any error. Yeah, we are not saying response body is empty because there are no records. So that's why it is giving the empty results. So go to this. So let's create some records. Edit top 200 rows and try to insert some row. Click on user ID. Let's say 3@gmail.com and one temp 123 and Sri and some phone number, random phone number. Okay, now let's see. Now let's come back to here. If you see, let's again write out execute. We should get some record. Yes, see all the details which we inserted in the database coming. Okay, phone number, name, password, email, user ID. So get is working. So similarly we will try to add the other methods as well. You can say http get. Let's have another method, get user by id. Call it as get user by id. Okay, So what we are going to pass it, we are going to pass the id, int id. Okay, but what is the route to be have it? A route we need to add it, otherwise it will not call this method route. Okay, let's have the route like this. First we need to add double inverted, okay, and flower brackets. What is id int? Okay, we need to have like this. And next, so we need to have all users. Okay, user details we need to have it, because we are going to get the single user. So let's have user details, db context dot users dot. So what we need to find, we need to find the user with the id. So let's have like this and click on next. So if user details are user details are empty, if user details are present, okay, return user details. We need to keep it as a not equal to null. Okay, else we need to have user return not found. So this is second method we are trying. So let's rerun this. So it will now, we are going to have the second method getting the user's first method, and second method by getting the user by id. So we should have the second method. Yes, we are having now. So try it out. So we are going to pass the required id. As you know, one id user is present. Click on execute. We should get the user. Yes. Okay, we are getting now. If you want to try with the two, it should not be there, and we should not get anything. Error not found. So we haven't handled the try catch you can say. We are returning not found exception. Sorry, we are returning not found, as our user details are not going to find it. So we are going to get this thing. And if you, so so far we are able to complete the two methods. One is getting the all user details, another thing is getting the user details by id. Now third thing is we need to go by adding the user. So let's click on this, click on add the method. The method name should be http post, right? So click, it is not required now. So now click add user. So what should be the model name? Model name is the user. Okay, and user details, user details. We can keep it as this thing. Now we will add the user details like this. Click on user, click on user object, new user. We need to add, let's have the properties values. What are the properties we are having now? Email. So user details, we are getting the user details input. So we are going to get the user details dot email. And what are the other properties are required? Name. Okay, user details dot name. And what is another one? We are having the phone number, right? User details dot phone, right? And what is the next thing we are having? We are having the name, phone, and space, password. Let's give some temporary. Okay, sorry, let's give user object password. And what is the next thing we are having? User ID. So you also need to provide the user ID as well. User details dot user ID. Okay. So we are going to not going to provide the ID because it is the primary key and it is the identity column. It is going to generate automatically. So majorly it is the identity column. We are not going to insert it. DB context. Let's add this object to the users class so that once we add, once we add, once we hit the API, it will add the user, respective user. So db context dot users dot add, that's okay, we are adding. Suppose that we need to save, right? We need to save the database into database db context dot save changes. So now let's run it. Let's rerun it. So we done two operations and this is the third operations. Click on add user. Let's write out. So post method, see, we got the new method post method. Click on write out. So we are not going to pass any ID. So let's pass username, user ID. So I just removed the ID. Don't get confused. So we are not going to pass it. User ID is name says 32. 32 email will give as a 32@gmail.com and password is 32 same. Name is 32 and phone random phone number. Okay, and now click on execute. So you can see there is only single record we are having right now. Click on new query. So we can see, click on select star from users. You can see only one record is there, right? We are now clicking on execute. It should create the record. Yes, response body, we have got it. It is succeeded. Now let's click on SQL Server Management Studio. Yeah, the record is inserted. So we are done with the post operation by adding the new user. Okay, so add user is working fine. Then what is the next one is we need to update some details. So we are going to have the same thing similarly, and we are going to have the HTTP post. For update operations we are going to use put. Okay, so method name should be update user. Okay, and what we are going to update, we are going to update, so we need user ID for the user. Okay, and first we need to, so this we need to remove this. So let's keep it. We need to alter it. So first we need to get the user details from database. User will mention it as user, then we'll read it from db context dot users dot find. What we are finding, the user with the given ID. So it is going to ultimately give the results of our current active user not equal to null. Then what we need to do, we need to update it. To update it, so we need to click on user dot, what are the things we are going to update, we are not sure what are the things we are going to update it, right? So user dot email is equal to user details dot email. Perfect. So like this, how many we are going to have it? User dot password equal to user details dot password. Okay, user dot phone equal to user details dot phone number. And what we are going to have it, user dot name equal to user details dot name. Okay, let's specify colon, semicolon, and what is other property we need? Phone number, user ID. So another property we are having is user dot user ID equal to user details dot user ID. So all the details which are coming as a input parameters, so we are trying to update it. So I'm just removing the older one, older code. So I am just trying to, we are not going to, so click on, we are not going to add it. So we are just, I removed it. Now we need to click, just we need to save it, db context dot save changes, so that these user details will be saved, and we need to click on return, okay, user object. Okay, now let's try. um, it's already there, so let's refresh. Will it come? No, it's not coming, so we need to stop it, and or we need to restart it. Click on it, click on restart. Update user details should be visible in the swagger. Now let's check. Yeah, we have the put method right now. See, click on write out. So what we are going to update? So we need, we are going to pass 2 as we know. So I'm going to just modify, I'm going to remove it. User ID is 32233. So let's first get the this get the user details by ID first. Write out the 2. We got it right, 323, all these details. So let's copy this complete body. Now put into here. So we will modify this. We are going to remove the ID as it's a primary column, and identity column which will not allow ideally. So just modifying to 2 to 3 everywhere. Okay, let's click on execute. So it's updated. See, ID 2, we got the response. Okay, you can check in the database as well. So we are having earlier query which we already ran it, and now if you see 3 3, right? So it is updated. Now what we are left with? We are left with delete operations. Ideally, so we done getting all user, getting user by ID, and now update user is done, adding the user is done. Now click on add delete. So we need to go with this, copy this will go, okay, and we'll paste here. So it is not HTTP get, as we are performing delete. So click on modify it as the delete. So click modify delete user. The route which is already added we are taken as a get, it will be the same. So you are going to find db context.user.find, this is correct, and user details not equal to null, correct. So what we are going to do, once user details are found, then what we have to do, we need to remove it, db context dot users dot remove, right? Which thing we need to remove? User details object. It will remove the user from the database, but we need to save it. So db context dot save changes. So once it's removed, now it will be changed as well. Now we are not going to have any more user details, so just I am returning as a click empty return, okay. Okay, so let's try and let's rerun again. So now see, it is able to delete it or not. It is going to open another window. Yeah, it opened. So swagger dot in, see, delete operation is now visible. So what is the ID which we need to click on write out, and we will going to remove the user 2. Click on execute. So we were having the 2 users, right? So now it, see, we got the response code as 200. It is means it's success. And we'll go to the database and we'll check how many users are there. So The second row was removed. It means delete operation is completed. Yes, this is a delete operation. So that's it. We perform all CRUD operations like create, reading, read multiple users and read single users, update and delete. That's all about this video. We'll meet in the next video. Thanks everyone. Bye bye.